Assalamualaikum and very good evenings to all my fellow brothers and sisters. Today, we will be presenting about Islam and the current challenge. We from Group 5, Group Ibn Sina, consist of 4 family members. First is me, Muhammad Firdaus bin Abdul Halim. My fellow brothers, Muhammad Fadil Fitri bin Muhammad Ishaq. My fellow sisters, Siti Nur Azina binti Abdul Razak and Nur Zaitul Akmal binti Mokhtar. We are from program BCTBL. This is our plagiarisms and cheating consents. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All praise and thanks are due to Allah, and peace and blessing be upon His messenger. Today, we will talk about introduction of Islam, prayer and the effects on the formation of Muslim identity. Then we go to the 3 main strengths of Islam: strength of belief, jihad, and knowledge. And we will conclude it. Introductions. Daily prayer, called Salah in Arabic, is a form and spirit unique to Islam. Salah is an act of submission to the Supreme Creator Allah, expressed in a specific and well-defined physical act embodying the spirit. All Muslims must worship Him as the second pillar of their faith. The Holy Book requires all adults to pray 5 times a day. Verily, Salah is an obligation on the believers to be observed at its appointed time. Quran, verse 4, chapter 103. Voluntary prayers in exceed of the above are highly encouraged and are recommended as a means of turning the divine help at the time of personal grief and distress. The second form of worship, which is called zikr, means meditation is an individual act of always remembering Allah to glorify Him and remain thankful for His mercy and beneficence. Through both, this means the Muslim individual seek closeness to the Creator, and attain inner peace and tranquility. Allah know better His creations. Thus, say in the Quran, verse 70, chapter 19 to 23, verily, man was created impatient, irritable when evil touched him, and niggardly when good touched him, except for those devoted to prayer, those who remain constant in their prayers. Most Muslims believe in one God, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may the mercy and the blessing of God be upon him, as his prophet. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. All Muslims trace their religious heritage to Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century, when Islam was born. Since then, the Quran and the Muhammad, may the mercy and blessing of God be upon him, traditions have defined 5 core Islamic rituals. This is 5 pillars of 5 core of Islam. First one is Shahada, that we specify that no one has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and Muhammad is His messenger. Salah, we offer Salah 5 times a day. Zakat, we are paying zakat that giving aims for charity for needed ones. Fasting, We are fasting in the months of Ramadan, and the last one is Hajj. We're going to pilgrimage to the house of Allah at Mecca for those who able. Prayers and the effect on the formation of Muslim identity. The importance of the prayers in Islam cannot be understood. It is the first pillar of Islam that Prophet, may mercy and blessing of God be upon him, mentioned after mentioning the testimony of faith by which one become a Muslim. It was made obligatory upon all the prophets and for all peoples. God has declared it obligatory under obligatory status under majestic circumstances. For example, when God spoke directly to Moses, he said, "And I have chosen you, so listen to which is inspired to you. Verily, I am the God. There is none worthy of worship but I. So worship me and offer prayer perfectly for my remembrance." This quote shows that we need to pray or salat to remember Almighty God. Prayer as a universal. Prayer is also available to everyone. Muslims can pray together no matter what their gender, health, income, or distance is. The same goes for going to mosque, giving money once a year, fasting during Ramadan, or making a pilgrimage to Mecca. Because prayer is done everywhere, it is a good way to see how religious Muslims are all over the world. In a view of Islamic perspective, Islam is the second largest religion in the world. It originated about 1,400 years ago in Arabian, and since that, it has spread to far-fetched corner of the world. Despite all the spread of Islam and glory it experienced in its early times, at present, Islam is facing numerous challenges on various forefronts that make a person question the true message of Islam. From an Islamic point of view, personal identity is a big deal because it shows how strongly and deeply a Muslim believes in his religions. Finding shows that Muslims, especially leaders and religious people, should put a higher priority on the issue of personal identity. Sacred teaching delivered by Prophet Muhammad SAW, may be mercy and blessing of God be upon him. The Prophet had hint about Islam's loss of identity among Muslims. The Prophet SAW exhorted, "You will follow the road of those before you, step by step, a forearm length by a forearm length, and if one of them fall into a monitor lizard's hole, surely you will follow suit. And if one of them is joined by his wife on the pathway, surely you will follow suit." Next, I will pass to my fellow brother.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Fadi Fitri Brahma Ismail. I will present the Islamic identity. In one narration show, Islam is a complete religion and it should be our essential real identity and continues with us till death and is not left behind as a profession or any other thing. Islam is a religion that provides every Muslim with a code of conduct for their life. It's not only a religion in which we practice an act of worship like a prayers, fasting in the month of Ramadan, paying of obligatory zakah, and performing Hajj without linking of this act of worship to other aspects of life. Things that make happen an Islamic identity, certain traits should be part of the identity of the certain group of the people for it to be stable and competitive. There are three things that make up a culture: trust, history, and culture. Culture is made culture is made up of the mother tongue, knowledge, art, literature, costume, and culture. When you look at that is mean to be an Islamic, you can see those three things. I will present three main strengths in the Muslim needed to review and Islam identify based on the Quran and As-Sunnah. Firstly, strength in belief. It referred to the trust and confidence that you have in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who's owned everything and no one can change the trust and confidence. I begin with the name of God, the most beneficent and most merciful. Allah praise and thank for God and Lord of the world, the most beneficent, the most merciful, uh, sovereigns of the day of recompense. You alone we wish worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us to the strange path of Islam, the path of those you have blessed, not the path of those who have incurred your what for those your right, nor of those who have gone astray. For Muslims, the Quran is primarily a book of guidance and humanity. Second strength in belief, as the final divinely revealed book, its messages are timeless and remain relevant because it speaks to human reality in a universal sense. The Quran provides practical answer and teach that whenever human reality becomes complicated, we should go back to the basic foundational belief and principles. The next, I will pass to Siti Nur Azrina.
Thank you, Mr. Fadil. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nur Azrina binti Abdul Razak. I will proceed with the strength of jihad. The primary challenge faced by Islam is the jihadists consider West as their mortal enemy and go to all the measures in combating with them. As a result of all their activities, people of the world consider Islam as an intolerant and destructive religion that only accepts the existence of Muslim in the world and has no tolerance for people from other beliefs and religions. Moreover, this image of intolerance of Islam complemented with jihadist activities make people think that Islam relies on the force of power to eradicate all those who resist Islam or are not Muslims. The true preaching of Islam towards the followers of other religions is based on tolerance. Prophet Muhammad himself allowed the Christians of Najran to say prayers in the mosque. Therefore, there is no indication show that Islam refused the existence of non-Muslims. On the other story, Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, the second caliph of Muslim, was offered to prayer in the church after Muslim conquered Jerusalem. but he refused to do so, saying that if he said prayer in the church, Muslims would ultimately convert it into a mosque, which he did not want to happen. These two are evident examples of the tolerant attitude Islam has towards non-Muslims. The lack of knowledge of the Mujahideen regarding jihad and ignorance of its tolerant and forbearing side will lead to misunderstanding of Islamic jihad activities happen nowadays. Moreover, Islam only allows fighting others when the existence of Islam is at stake, and in that fighting also Islam instructs the followers to fight at the combat forefronts and not harm or kill civilians. The verse mentioned that one of the best forms of jihad is speaking the words of justice against an oppressive ruler. As mentioned by narrative above, jihad is not only in the form of combat, but it can also be in the form of speaking, such as stand up of justice against an oppressive tyrant in form of social media, talk or speech. Next, I will pass to my fellow friends, Akmal.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, I'm Nurzatul Akmal. I will start with the strengths of knowledge. For the read, in the name of your Lord, who has created all that exists, he has created man from a cloth, a piece of the thick coagulant blood. Read, and your Lord is the most generous who has taught by the pen. He has taught man that which he knows not. So when the Quran was revealed, the first word was Iqra. Read, learn, understand. In a cave outside Mecca, the angel Gabriel squeezed Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam chest and demand that he read. So in the verse of Iqra, his teach us in all knowledge you must read. For the next slide, please. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also encouraged his followers to seek knowledge. He said that if someone follows a path in pursuit of knowledge, God will make his path to paradise easy. He also mentions that knowledge was one of the three good deeds that continued even after death. The first Muslim established school for teaching and learning Quran and Islamic science established in a house of the man by the name of Akram. Even now in the 21st century, across to the Islamic world, students attend schools named Darul Akram, the house of Akram, in the memory in recognitions of the first Islamic school. Islam holds knowledge, education, literacy, and intellectual pursuits in high regards. Throughout Islamic history, there are countless instances of establishments of schools and universities and libraries and think tanks. In a strength of knowledge, Muslims also established theories in education, wrote curriculums, pursued literature, art, and took the concept seeking knowledge of the new heights. In a part 3, we will look at theories of education and establishments of school and centers of learning. In Islam, it's important to worship and knowledge go hand to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the angels give those knowledge the highest positions and spacious place after the prophets. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Mujadila, verse 11. O you who believe, when you are told, make space in a group, do so, and Allah will make space for you. And when you are told to rise, do so. Allah will gradually raise those of you who have believed and those who have been given knowledge, and Allah knows. Unquestionably, by remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured. Al-Quran, Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. As a conclusions, as a good Muslim, we need to able to control our anger, control our lust, reduce bad-hearted attitude, laziness, greed, and reduce your ego. As a verse below, wahai Daud, aku telah jadikan diri kamu sebagai khalifah di bumi ini, maka tegakkanlah hukum di tengah-tengah manusia dengan kebenaran. Jangan ikuti hawa nafsu sehingga menyesatkan dalam menempuh jalan Tuhanmu. Be a set of good example, develop in aspect Islamic knowledge, maximizing of a power potential of the mind, sense, heart, and bestowed by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Mobilize all limb, body, mind, and power to worship Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. For seek Allah Subhanahu wa Taala pleasure. Show the Islamic behavior, wisdom, brave, polite, simple, generous, and love. As a reference as attached. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.